I hope they feel shame for the amount of airtime and the amount who turned up today, but not for the victims of child abuse. Excuse me, would you like to intervene? No. Yeah, I wonder why they didn't want to talk about how it was fine for a woman who'd been ritually raped repeatedly and repeatedly to have to go back to the country where that had happened and she had been trafficked to here.
Now, this happened after the vote for the safety of Rwanda Asylum and Immigration Bill, second or third reading last week. Who knows? Even I can't keep up. Well, after the bill went through and 30p Leanock ran away from Labour sniggling, Labour MP Jess Phillips really powerfully showed how financially ridiculous this bill really is.
I want everybody in here to know that they are about to vote for a bill that they have absolutely no idea how much it's going to cost. Like, we haven't been given that information. I was in for the committee stage of the debate. Earlier, and the chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee said that there was a view that each person that was sent to Rwanda would cost £169,000. And it piqued my anger so greatly because I had just come from an event with the Home Secretary around it being a year on from the independent child sexual abuse inquiry and what progress we have made since then. And I was holding in my hand a piece of paper that said that in 2022, 100,000 children were sexually abused and came forward and said it. And then I looked up how much money the Home Office was allocating for their Sexual Abuse Against Children Fund in 2022, and it was £4.5 million, which I worked out was £42 for every child who'd been raped in that year. And I thought, what political capital of walking round and round and round and round for now the third bill for something that won't work. And 150 judges can be found yesterday under the, the sofa by the Prime Minister when cases in my constituency of rape victims waiting 7 years to get in front of a judge. Frankly, Mr. Speaker, people who think that the amount of time spent on wasting taxpayers' money on something that hasn't worked the last 2 times we tried it and will not work this time, frankly, Mr. Speaker, should be ashamed of themselves for voting for something when they don't have any idea how much it's going to cost the people in their constituencies. I hope they feel shame for the amount of airtime and the amount who turned up today, but not for the victims of child abuse. Excuse me, would you like to intervene? No. The other thing I want to say is that I was in a British court last week, not a foreign court, a British court. I was in a British court with a victim of human trafficking. She'd been trafficked twice. We deported her once already as a trafficking victim, and she was re-trafficked back to this country. And I went to the upper tribunal with her last week. She has 2 children born of the repeated rapes that she suffered as a victim of human trafficking. And the Home Office was trying to deport her again, to which the judge scolded the Home Office lawyers for daring to bring it in front of them. And because I was sat in the courtroom, the Home Office lawyers were not so keen to give their evidence in front of me, so they didn't really give any. Yeah, I wonder why they didn't want to talk about how it was fine for a woman who'd been ritually raped repeatedly and repeatedly to have to go back to the country where that had happened and she had been trafficked to here. I have heard nothing today in any of the debates about when we scoop up all these people without any appeal, what happens to the victims of human trafficking? What happens to them? Because currently I've sat in courtrooms where this government is abusing them. I would never vote for this. Not today, and neither should anybody else.
All I would say is I certainly wouldn't have intervened. But I would be very interested in finding out who was actually chuntering at the time. But she's absolutely right about the finances of this ridiculous bill, isn't she? But it also shows really where this vile, extreme Brexit Tory government's priorities really lie, doesn't it? But what do you guys think? Let me know down below and I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.